The relevant additional question here is, what dent can they make in my team? And the answer is none. None dent. Question mark? Underscore? Exclamation point. Hello and welcome back to an Aether Keep. Maybe it's mine. I'll be your host, Gerard the Completionist. And we are double saving in Light Season today. I got a couple of showcases of how, even with all of the resources in the world to make double saves seem unappealing, it's still like a pretty good strategy. So on this map you can see we've got Sue has the ability to sweep, Bernadetta has incredible amounts of DR, high damage output potential with tempo, we got AoE on the Lina, we got true damage on Seliph, we got shenanigans on Chrom, and we have Embla to make support and save, like, kind of not work in general. So how do we get around it? Obviously, we take a look at those 3 lanes that Embla locks down, and we just stay out of them. We don't want to go there. This positioning gives us plenty of room to do that. We got ourselves a nice tight little arrangement, and we can kind of let the party get started here. But it's not... The thing about teams like this is that it's never... Turn 1... When there's one... Sorry, let's talk in sentences. When there's one Embla on the map, it's not turn 1 that's the problem. Turn 1, you know where Embla is, you know how you can position around Embla. Turn 2, things often get weird because she moves so dang far. Now, I can't go anywhere. But what we have here is that we've managed to take out all of the ranged threats, which means that we kind of no longer need double save. I like this very much. What we're going to do is actually take a little bit of time, set up, figure out what to do, but the end goal here is that only having one ranged units, both of my saviors actually do just fine at one range. Obviously Robin prefers that, Grima even. But, you know, there's been a lot of talk about maybe Corrin is meant to be an Omni tank more so than a Far Savior, and that means she can do the one range just as well. I'm kind of making this video to prove that there's still definitely a place for save, double save, in the meta. Like, I really, especially like, Embla's a weird double-edged sword, right? Like, on the one hand, she makes you not want to use save, so it's maybe that team slot is better spent on support, but then it's also like, well, she has the whole feud thing going on, so is the support worth it? In this case, we're just using the 2 saviors to sort of protect everybody without use of savior. Funny how that works. And from here, it's pretty much just a matter of collecting those pots by abusing Leanne's tiny little attack stat. Eric can kind of tank it, and it's just not tremendously interesting, so we're probably going to fast forward and get on to the next video. But before we get on to the next match, which is a much better match, it's actually a subscribers only match. You have to subscribe to the channel or the video will end at like 4:28 or whatever point the switch happens. Please press the button if you've made it this far in the video. I'm sure something else will come through this channel that piques your interest. And like this next match, which, again, will not play if you're not subscribed. So press the button, and I'll appreciate it very much. Expect a handwritten letter in your mailbox if I know your address. Please do not send me your address if I don't know it. That would just make things weird. There is no handwritten letter. It was a lie, but thank you for pressing the button. Okay, match number 2. Check this out. It is very cool. Oh, thank you, you handsome gentlemen, for that glorious lead-in. This is a secret subscribers-only match. Wow, if you didn't subscribe and you're seeing this somehow, skip ahead a couple minutes. This isn't for you, you don't get to watch it. So this is an interesting match, which we're not even going to watch the whole thing of, because I kind of throw in the second half. But I think that the first turn is a pretty interesting one. So we're going to take a look at this, because it is always difficult for me to wrap my head around exactly how Embla works, to the extent that sometimes I simply forget she has any effect at all and throw 2 saviors in her face and lose instantly. This is the opposite of that, where I remember exactly the function, which is that in her 3-row, 3-column range, the units that are hit by the debuff cannot be covered by a savior. However, if the savior is hit by those debuffs, they can still cover units who don't have the status effects. Meaning that you kind of have to do things opposite. Opposite? Sometimes my brain wants to parse it as like, a unit who is hit by this cannot be a savior, but it is the opposite. A unit who is hit by this cannot be saved. Undefended, I think is what it's called. So what we're going to do here is turn on animations, because that's really important. But what we're going to do here is take advantage of two mechanics and put Corrin over here, leave the rest of the people in this sort of unthreatened range where we don't have to worry about as much because the Dancer is the 7th unit and there's no Pathfinder, so the movement is relatively predictable. And Veronica only gets her sweep when there's multiple units within 2 spaces of her target. By doing this, we have the whole team away from Corrin because they don't want to get hit by the debuff, and that means that she actually can hit back, and the Desperation charges that armored flow so that we do in fact get the one-shot, even if it didn't look like it. We get it. We do. Nothing funny here. We get that one-shot and let them advance, get us into a situation where we actually kind of have some space to play. Like, again, we can keep on running this, like, savior up front type play where they can get hit and it's okay. But, yeah, everything does fall apart a little bit from here, so we don't need to finish out this match. I just wanted to show that little strategic nugget to, you, the valued subscribers of the channel, who are the only ones who can see this because of a advanced piece of sorcery that I recently learned and instilled in the YouTube. Okay, on to the second match, which this was not. This was a secret match that only you could see. Okay, here that is. Goodbye. Hello again. So this one is a lot scarier. And this is the kind of match where it's like, maybe, well, instinctually I kind of want to go for, like, Dimitri because this one's going to get messy. Embla covers a much better range. But the more you look at it, it's like, well, Dimitri has a bit of trouble with that air. Dimitri has quite some trouble with that Sigurd. T-Sigurd. Dimitri doesn't necessarily do amazing into Bernadetta. Dimitri does not do great into Maria. And on top of all that, Sigurd is going to give extra movement to everybody, so omni-tanking is just not really good, but my player-face teams simply lack the flexibility and movement actions necessary to do this on player phase. So it leaves me with my team. I have a couple of player phase teams, I have a couple of Dimitri teams, and I have my same double save team that we just saw. As you can see, we have crossed off 4 of those teams from the options, leaving us with only one. And this is they. So this one's a little bit tricky because Embla is positioned in a way that creates more problems than the last one, and I can't really take safety for granted because we do have Sigurd's additional movement and an X factor of note running around. But what I can be reasonably confident in is the fact that this corner will not have to deal with Embla just yet. She will not ruin our good time. So we're just going to see what we can make happen over there, even though we have Miracle, Sweep, DR. Like, what dent can we even make in their team? I can't tell you that. I have no idea. However, the relevant additional question here is, what dent can they make in my team? And the answer is none. None dent. Question mark? Underscore? Exclamation point. Okay, never mind. They may have slung a single frozen pea at me. That going down from 27 to 1 is absurd. The fact that Brave Corrin does this and is already considered as, like, being pushed out of the meta is just... what are they doing? Like, units like this get pushed out, and then they're like, hey, check out the new attuned heroes, and it's not even anything. I really don't understand the way this game works sometimes. So it's turn 2, and Embla kind of has us in what I would describe as a predicament. And Maria is really limiting, like, what influence I can even have here, so what do we do? And once again, the true glory of this Brave Corrin is that she can fill that Omni-Tank role.
I agree.
Even in this turn 2, we can sort of hand the reins over to her and see what she'll do with it. I really don't have any other option here, and thankfully, this map works out just right to afford me that opportunity. The fact that we have this, like, really nice choke point, and that these particular enemies just can't quite outspeed her, even with the feud in effect. Like, look at this. I'm getting no speed bonus, and Embla's getting a small one, and we still just kind of a clippity-clap on that. And from here, you can see it's over. One turn of saving, one turn of Omni-Tanking, and from here we've got a couple of different units that we know can't scratch Corrin, so we just have to, now with the threat of Embla neutralized, we can just kind of get in position to get Node off the board, make things a little more predictable, and from there, collecting the pots is sort of free.
Good morning.
It takes some time, some doing, and I mean, look, if anyone can fumble this type of situation, you know it's me, but I do actually get away with it this time, so probably just gonna speed it up, show what that looks like in case anyone's curious how you don't throw. But, yeah, it's Fire Emblem Heroes for the Nintendo iPhone, and this is what it looks like now. Hasn't really changed as much as they might want you to believe. You just have to use the new one, the new unit, the new Brave. Such the way of always having it been.
I agree.
One of these days, a real sentence I'll give to you. I think at least one, I think I might have 2 more videos from late season. I don't know, this is, I'm having a hard time finding time to edit these. I do have a lot of other projects, YouTube related and not in my life, that need to take my attention, but this is one. I do like doing this. I'm trying to figure out how to get the best content to you with the constraints that my own life schedule forces upon me. So thanks for being here. Happy for any feedback or advice you might want to give, or just a comment saying, wow, Evan, you're doing great. Keep on doing great. You could change a thing, but it wouldn't matter. I don't know. Not trying to put words in your mouth. That's what I got today. Just a little double save showcase for you. So, I guess I'll see you again soon for some other interesting AR moments. Till then.